would like to remind participants that for all technologies, we developed a flyer, recto verso, or 4 pages presenting the technologies. They are all available on CommONEnergy website. We now have the time to take a few questions. So I have seen some popping up my screen, and I remind you that you still have time to do it for the next 2 presentations, and we will have another Q&A after the 2 presentations. So you can click on Q&A and type your question. So I have a question on the 3 pilots, and the person is asking if any of the 3 pilots were studied solutions of free cooling, I think it's cooling, to reduce the energy demand. So I would like to have Magdalena or even Wilmer replying to this question, please. If we studied a cooling solution for any of the 3 pilots, free cooling.
Oh, okay, I don't know, Magdalena, I don't know if you want to answer. I can answer for. Yes, we apply natural ventilation on the building, and we apply free cooling, especially overnight in Valladolid, in Modena, Valladolid and Modena. Yes, both we apply overnight free cooling. In Trondheim, we apply the system in order to be able to implement natural ventilation. So all the building can implement natural ventilation also.
Thanks, Wilmer. Another very good question, and actually it was studied during the project. How do tenants respond to the daylighting technologies? Because the person says in his or her experience they don't want daylight in the shops because it disturbs the presentation of their goods. I think maybe Wilmer wants also to reply to that. But we studied that in the project, so we even have a report on the website in the publications resources area of CommONEnergy project.eu website. But maybe Wilmer can quickly reply as well.
Yeah, this question point out an interesting issue that very often the tenants, they have specific also policy for what concern lighting. Besides this, we can always apply daylighting in the common areas. That is also something that we can always do with quite a successful results. But also we managed to implement some natural lighting in a specific shop in Trondheim, where we applied the light tubes. There are these tubes that take the light from the outside directly into the shop. In that case, the results was quite beautiful, and people were positively impressed by the results. So there are specific technologies that can allow and that can help the implementation of natural lighting even in shops. Okay,
thanks, Wilmer. The following questions is in terms of overall energy consumption per square meter. Are shopping centers I guess, more efficient compared to smaller commercial building solutions? Maybe Martin wants to reply on that, or still Wilmer?
I think it's more for Wilmer or Magdalena, I think.
I don't know, Magdalena, if you already have an answer. For what I can tell, we didn't perform the study on a small retail, so I don't know exactly what's the energy consumption of this type of buildings. What I can tell you is that in shop, or even in shopping centers, there is a big difference between one building and another. So there is not an energy consumption that we can say it is the number on an average number for all, but the standard deviation we can say is quite big. Actually, I don't have an answer. I cannot tell you for sure if they consume more or less compared to small retail shops. I don't have an answer on that. I don't know, Magdalena, if you have some data on this.
I'm not sure even I understood well the question. Anyway, in general terms, of course, more surface, more impact. It could be concluded like that. But of course, it's strictly depend on the particular location, building typology, the restrictions on legal part that we have on integration of the technologies and on technologies that we are integrating, because every technology has their own costs, of course. So the balance between all of that factors is the final result. Of course, there are technologies that are fit better for any particular climates and typologies. That's why, once again, I would like to invite you to visit that library, that repository file, where indicate a little and give you a picture on which technology may fit better to which shopping center typologies. Also, they are divided between those bigger and smaller ones, so you can check that.
Thank you, Magdalena and Wilmer. The next question is about if we found any shopping center that was ahead of trends, like nearly zero energy building or even energy positive. Actually, I can even reply myself to that. So last week or the week before, we organized the final conference of the project in Brussels, where we also had the Sustainable Building Challenge reward organized. And we rewarded 3 shopping centers that are ahead over time. You can find them on the CommONEnergy website as well, with one brochure presenting each of them and their characteristics. There was one in Italy, I think a Carrefour, another one in Hungary. But yes, of course, we found some, and actually I think it's also linked to the following questions about existing certifications, LEED, BREEAM, and such, and so that the person is wondering if they are enough to ensure good energy efficiency for shopping centers, or if they are too complex for, if the buildings like shopping centers are too complex for these approaches. I don't know who would like to reply to that.
Maybe Maarten here from Reply, I can answer shortly. Maybe just on the question first of if shopping centers are ahead of trends, what we did notice is that the trendsetters or the front runners, they are often front runners on level of specific technology, so that they implement really advanced lighting system, or they are very good on smart controls or building automation. However, the trend of being really involved and reacting to the energy systems, or really becoming a smart building within a smart energy system, that we didn't see happening yet. So that is something that the technologies are ready to do so and should evolve. On the question of certification schemes like LEED and BREEAM, I do see that it's mostly front-runner shopping centers are convinced about these schemes. But we do see that we need a lot of awareness raising on level of advantages of doing this for shopping center managers, and I think there it's also the role of the public authorities to push, if not voluntary, to have somewhere a mandatory level to go for a further certification scheme. But maybe Wilmer, you want to add something on the LEED and BREEAM aspects?
And actually, Wilmer, you can even complete, because I see the following question is still on that, asking if there is potential or a plan from the project to have any of the project tools or findings to be integrated into the assessment from BREEAM or LEED. Wilmer, if you can follow up. No?
Sorry, I didn't unmute my microphone. So yeah, I mean, it would be nice to integrate, of course, the tool, somehow integrate the tools with the scheme like BREEAM and LEED. They have already there is something is moving on the type of shopping center, and there are some specific elements about this type of buildings. But yes, of course, we can do a bit more, and it's not. We did the tools. Is now the discussion to include them in BREEAM and LEED, or they have them considered by these two certification bodies is a bit longer.
Thanks, Wilmer. We have 2 questions left, and I think then we can go to Stefano to have the 4th presentation. The person is asking which cost-benefit evaluation method was used in the project, for instance, life cycle costing, or which method was used.
I can briefly answer that. I mean, later on in the presentation that I will have, you will see a bit more about the cost evaluation that we perform on the solution set, so you can have a better idea. In just a few words, we consider a time horizon, and we analyze the cost of each components that we propose to install, the cost of installation, the cost of the maintenance, and so on, and actually also the discount rate, and we analyze the payback time and so on. So later on, you will see a bit more about this.
Thank you, Wilmer. And I think the last question you might as well mention at your next presentation, during your next presentation. What were the predicted objectives of the project in terms of energy demand below 75% or beyond? I think you actually also presented briefly that in your intro, but maybe you can remind. I think the person was a bit late.
Yeah, we said that one of our targets was this 75% of energy reduction, payback time below 7 years, and share of renewable energy up at least 50% of the energy used by the shopping center has to come from renewable energy. And also we promise to increase the environmental quality in buildings.
Thank you, Wilmer. So if you still have questions, do not hesitate to ask them. We will have a second Q&A at the end of the presentation. So our next speaker will be Stefano Mongili, who is working for Schneider Electric building business in Italy as a field device product manager, and working also as a manager for European projects. So he's working for CommONEnergy. He has a long experience as an energy efficiency specialist performing on-site energy audits for industrial infrastructure or other building sites, and as energy manager in big retail companies, so experience on the topic. Stefano, the floor is yours for the active solution.